My boss gave me this 14-inch MacBook Pro, and it's because there is a problem with it. So as an M1 Pro chip, first off, it's a 14-inch, and again, MacBook Pro. So it is a pretty solid computer. The only problem with it is the screen. So my boss's daughter dropped it, and no matter what I do, when I try to turn the screen on, there's no display. However, I'm still able to hook up an HDMI output to the screen, so I know that there's no actual damage with the laptop itself internally. Apple did an amazing thing when they made this laptop and basically coded the screen to the logic board. So if you don't have the screen coded to said logic board, it's not gonna work. Basically what this means is you can't just buy a screen off of Amazon, off AliExpress, whatever have you, and replace this one with that one, because it's not going to be properly binded to each other. So what do? Well, there's two options I can think of. One, I found a company that will actually desolder the chip that's on this screen and put it onto a new screen and then put that screen onto here. I think that's about $600, everything included, but it is a bit expensive. And my M1 MacBook works pretty much just fine. I'm trying to save money for some future projects. If you would like to support me, I would really appreciate it. I have a Patreon as well as Venmo or PayPal, so maybe you can buy me some coffee or whatever in the future. But you don't have to, so let's get back to the video. I have this M1, it works just fine. I would love an M1 Pro though, because it's an M1 Pro. I keep getting sidetracked, sorry. So there's two options we can do. We just went over the first one, which is have someone kind of fix it for this. Option two is this, and this might work, but this also might not work. I've already popped off the back panel with the help of my Fantic electronic screwdriver, and I will have to say MacBooks look beautiful inside. Now there's one thing in particular that I'm looking for, and it's a sensor for the screen. It's basically a lid sensor. When the lid is closed, it tells the display to turn off. I think it's somewhere in this region. I'm gonna figure out how to remove it, and maybe that'll fix the screen, because sometimes, very rarely, it will display out here, and sometimes it won't. So it could be a problem with this cable. If not, then of course it's the display, and I would have to get that company to repair it. Or I guess option three is I could buy an Apple Vision Pro and just have an extended desktop from here and basically just use this as a keyboard and trackpad. That's the third option, but that's really expensive. So I would really appreciate some Patreon help to either get a new screen or to get some way to fix this. Either one of these options would be great. The cheapest option is to be if this cable, if I can unplug it and the screen just stays on all the time, and then I'll manually sleep it, that will be fine. That works. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, that's so sad, guys. So we definitely have output to here, but no output here. Oh man, I'm seeing on screen even more. Look at these black bars on the top and the bottom. I think the display is just fully dead. That sucks. That really does. So now I really only have two options. And that is basically to send this into that company for the $600 to repair this MacBook. I can do that, or I could get the Apple Vision Pro, but that is so expensive. It's kind of scary that there's this light on in here. I'm definitely not gonna plug that back in while there's lights on. I'm gonna power it off first at least. It might not unplug the battery, but yeah. So could there be a bad screen connection somewhere? I don't know. Should I try disassembling this and then reseating it? But I just don't know, guys. What do you think? I'm gonna try that real quick. That's the last ditch resort, and then we'll go on to the other two possible things. Update, so I put this back on and I took all of this off. Look at those tiny screws. Do you guys see those? Look at how small some of those are. Ah! Okay, anyways, I removed all of this to get to the cables right here that connect the screen to the logic board. And so as you can see, I unclipped them, I've de-seated them. Now we will reseat them, put everything back together, put the battery back in, and this is the last resort, so wish me luck. Also, this screwdriver is legit. Like, I mean, super legit. I would not be able to do this without it. My sanity would be, like, shattered. So let me show you really quickly a quick demo with this Fantech driver. Again, Not sponsored whatsoever. I just love it so flippin' much. So we're gonna carefully put these screen cables back in. I really don't think this was the issue, but you know what? It's a last resort kind of thing. So we're just gonna put it back together. All right, so everything is pushed down. Now I can show you the screwdriver. So we're gonna put these two tabs back on. I'll take my driver, right? It's super simple and easy to switch out the bit, but we have the appropriate one needed. It's also magnetic, so I'm going to pick up one of these screws right here. Check that out. I don't know if you can see. It's legitimately, these screws are so flippin' small, which is awesome because, I mean, it's magnetic. It makes things so much easier. And now, all you do is just line it up, and then you just use the directional knob to either go forward or backward. Since we are going back in, we are just going to push it down. That's literally it. You use this little slider right here. You push it either forward to go in or back to back out the screws. It's just so simple, and it's so flippin' nice. Same thing with this one. And what's awesome is that there's a low torque setting and a high torque setting. Since I'm working on these small electronics, I'm on the low torque setting, and then I'm just going to tighten it all the way down until the motor stops spinning, which makes it super easy and super convenient. That way you know you're not over tightening or anything. You just go based off the motor speed. It is such a legit tool to have. The magnetic bit, oh my gosh, it's a flippin' lifesaver. And the fact that it's motorized, it saves so much time and so much wristing. Because even if you have one of the ones with the bit at the end where you kind of just like twist it and it just goes in easier, that still takes force and it still takes more time. Whereas this is just boom, we're done, and we can move on to the next pieces. Okay guys, so reseating the cable, this is my first look as well as your first look. This is the first look turning on the MacBook. That's not good. Okay, if it's like the previous M1, you have to plug in power after you put everything back together. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so Apple logo. This doesn't really mean anything because this always happened to where it would load. So this does not equal to success, unfortunately. And we got it and it blipped. Yep, that's, the screen needs to be replaced. So, two options with this guy. We can either A, just use HDMI to a monitor, get like a portable screen. B, pay the people, I think $600 to replace this. Or C, get the Mac Vision or the Apple, it's the Apple Vision Pro, and then be able to expand this screen up there. Either way, it's expensive and I don't want to pay that much money right now. So this is not repairable. Don't buy a MacBook where the logic board and the screen are binded together, because if something happens, these displays are very fragile, and the display on my MacBook, this one right here, the other M1, that's already been replaced once. So if you need to replace this and you can't, you kind of out of luck. Yeah. Alright guys, that's pretty much it. This is the conclusion. Don't buy this laptop. Don't buy any MacBook product. Don't buy any Apple product if the screen is binded to the logic board. Otherwise, it's just going to be expensive. Yeah, that's the conclusion. Okay, bye.